hello trailblazers. Welcome to Blazer Brews, the place where Salesforce coffee and community comes together to brew the conversation and that inspire. I'm your host Ankita, and today we will be diving into one of the hottest conversation because everyone, literally everyone, even my families these days are talking about the AI. So I don't think so anyone who's not knowing and what is going on and the world revolving, right? So this is the hottest topic these days. But before we jump into what we have today, let's why not just recap what we happened, last or previous session. Previously, we had Yumi with us who talked about what comes in a flow, and I have seen amazing, and the audience also have seen amazing feature which came here in release 26. Oh my god, there are a lot of things to learn still. Now today we have special guest, and since it's our 10th episode, Adam, thank you so much for joining us today, and completely I am really appreciate that you get a time for our audience to talk about what's like going on in this world, how the digital transformation is shifting towards the AI. So before we grab a coffee and go with the hotter conversation, I would like to understand from you who you are. I mean, just a little introduction about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So thank you so much for having me, Ankita. So my name is Adam Olshansky. I'm a Salesforce technical architect for Google based in San Francisco. I've been part of the Salesforce ecosystem since 2014, and I really enjoy helping people learn how to code on the platform, how to architect on the platform, and now how to use AI with the platform. So definitely happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a horror conversation, architect talking to architect now. But Adam, we all know the respected position which you have. You are MVP. You are in a Salesforce from 2014, right?
Yeah.
But before that, because I just wanted to understand the journey, and the journey is also inspire to other. Can you please take us through before Adam was an MVP, who Adam was, how do you decided to come into the Salesforce?
Sure. So I actually started off, I did mock trial in high school. I wanted to be a lawyer and I was a political science major. And, I envisioned lawyers, spending all their time going into court and fighting and constructing arguments and things like that. And then I got to college and I found out, being a lawyer is a little bit more reading and writing and researching and not as much fighting in court. So that didn't sound quite as interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I had a family friend that told me I was good at math and science, and so maybe I should look into engineering. So I kind of looked into the engineering route, went down, computer science, computer engineering, and after college, I was working with SAP a little bit. Wasn't a huge fan of SAP, and at some point, like with most people, I got into Salesforce accidentally. I got a promotion that just happened to be working with Salesforce, and they ended up sending me to Dreamforce, and from there, kind of started my Salesforce journey. You know, at Dreamforce, I took some hands-on trainings with point and click development, which is has a special place in my heart, and also coding in Apex, and it kind of clicked and it made sense. And I actually met this guy David Liu who was working at Google, and that's kind of when it clicked that I could make a whole career out of the Salesforce thing. And now full circle, David Liu and I are teammates at Google, and so definitely a nice culmination to the journey.
Yeah, it was amazing journey, and then all your achievement you just said lightly like it is very common. No, you did a. I mean, to be in a Salesforce, you have seen multiple other things as well, and then you are in the very reputed position today. Definitely, those journey by listening like this looking very smooth, but you can only know that what are the challenges and the problem which you have faced. Would you like to enlighten that side also, please?
Sure. I think with anything, I know it's even harder now, but at the beginning when I was starting out, I got a bunch of certifications. I thought I knew what I was doing, and people kept telling me, hey, we can't hire you because you don't have any experience. And so that was very frustrating. I really just needed someone to take a chance on me. And a lot of times it does come down to luck. And one of the nice things about the community, I actually found my first Salesforce job through somebody in the community that I had helped study for a certification. And so it was, fortunate being in the right place at the right time, having helped somebody that happened to come across a role. But it definitely, was a struggle for a little while to find a role in the community. Um, And then, of course, getting started, are prone to making some errors at the beginning. I remember in my first Salesforce job, I created a validation rule directly in production and broke a bunch of stuff right before a long weekend. And so, learning from our mistakes. I have not done that. Was more than 10 years ago. I've not done that again since. But yeah, there definitely are struggles that come with everything. I used to give a talk about my career journey in general, and I think out of college, I had an unconventional major, and so I'd applied to like 75 different jobs and only got accepted to one of them. And so it, definitely takes a lot of, it's hard being rejected again and again, and some of it does come down to luck, some of it does come down to networking and meeting the right person who happens to have an opportunity. Um, so yeah, definitely some struggles at the beginning, and so I'm very passionate about trying to help people in their own careers now and help them move forward like other people help me.
Yeah, and we have seen this in a Salesforce community because we are so close and always ready to help each other. And I think that's the motivation and the legacy we are passing when you are a leader, or if you're not even a leader, regardless of what title you are holding. People are helping each other, and this is how we grow and this is how we learn. And you also help a lot of people. Probably, I don't know, if someone is listening me, I would must recommend that please DM and then let us know how Adam has helped you. And thank you so much, Adam, for doing such things. And you are also a Salesforce MVP, Hall of Fame, oh my god, like a lot of things, which is incredible. So what did the milestone mean to you personally?
Yeah, obviously it's always great to be recognized, for the work that you're doing, and doing this for so long. I like I said, so many people helped me when I was starting out, and I try to do as much as I can to help people now and meet as many people as I can. I think you and I met in Poland last year, right? And I enjoyed traveling the world, but also connecting
Yeah.
with people all over the world. And so like this whole conversation is happening because, I went to Poland, you went to Poland, we both went to try to learn, to grow, to connect with other people, and make more connections. And so, being
Yeah.
named an MVP and then a Hall of Fame member after being an MVP for 5+ years, really just kind of was again kind of a culmination that I'd been successful in trying to help people like others that helped me. So a
Yeah.
great feeling for sure.
You just hold that MVP title for beautiful 5+ years, right? So it's like if you
Mhm.
have started something, but if you keep continuing and holding that particular title, that given even more responsibility on your shoulder, right? Right. And
Yeah.
you know what? We met in the Dreamforce as well.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, yeah. I
Yes.
think we first met in
You
Poland though,
first met
right? And
in
then yeah, we
Poland.
saw each other again at Dreamforce. So yeah, again,
Yeah.
keeping the connections
And
going.
Paris also?
I've never been to Paris,
Oh,
so
I'm sorry, my bad.
yeah. At some point,
Okay,
maybe. At some point, maybe.
some point. Of course, of course. Well, Salesforce taught us like trailblazing, maybe. AI is now teaching us the shape is been shifted, and with that time to dive, into more, we need to understand more what AI capabilities are and how the people how you think that the mindset can shift from an instruction or an automation, and then it moved to chatbot, and now it's an agentic era where agents are giving command to other agent. I would like to understand and eager to even learn more with a different five mindset shift. So it's your time. I'll shut my mouth for some time, and floor is yours, Adam.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, Ankita. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here then. Front screen.
Yeah, let you know if I can see your screen.
Okay,
It's not
and I
visible
want
here.
to share this one.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it now.
Great. Okay. All right. So yeah, thanks, Ankita, for having me today, and wanted to talk about kind of 5 mindset shifts for the AI era. So as we talked about a little bit, my name is Adam Olshansky. I'm a Salesforce technical architect at Google. I've been a member of the Salesforce MVP ecosystem since 2016, and the Hall of Fame the last couple of years. Some application and system architect certifications, a bunch of Trailhead badges, and I've had the pleasure of speaking around the world, quite a few times at Dreamforce, and also in places such as India, Poland, Uruguay. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know you came to see us here today. But again, like I said, I'm really passionate about helping people with development on the platform, architecture on the platform, and now here in the AI era, AI on the platform. And with this AI era that we're in, I think it's changing a lot of things, and so it's kind of definitely changed the way I work and the way I think about things. And so, want to start off providing some context, talk about 5 kind of mindset shifts that I've had to go through as we enter this era, and then wrap things up at the end with a summary and kind of some practical next steps for how you can maybe put this into practice. And so I want to start off here with the context, right? And the reality is the AI era is here, right? If you've been following technology at all in the last couple years, you may have noticed this already. If you've been to Dreamforce, to any tech conference, you've been reading the news, right? AI is all around us. And my thinking is it should change the way you approach everything, right? Some things going to change for the better, some things going to change for the worse, but it is going to change things. And so with that in mind, there are some things I've been thinking about changing the way that I've been working, trying to, help AI work for me as best I can. So wanted to share some of those things with you all today. So let's get into the 5 mindset shifts here for the AI era. And so the first one is shifting from resistance to evolution. I think there's a tendency whenever any new technology comes out, when anything comes out, to resist it a little bit. And whenever people in general don't like change, right? People have their routines, people have what they're used to, and whenever change comes in, it's scary, it's frustrating, it's different. And we've seen a lot of different changes come in the tech industry and in the world, and some of these maybe don't have as much staying power, right? RIP to NFTs. But some things do have more staying power, right? And the reality is AI is here to stay, and your job is going to change as a result. What that change is going to be may be unclear, but it is going to change. And embracing this change isn't going to be optional. And so I would suggest getting out in front of it and trying to embrace it as soon as possible, right? But keeping in mind, this is not the first revolutionary technology, right? As this wizard with the abacus will tell you, right? But just like calculators came along, they changed the way we do math, but they didn't kill math, right? We still need to know how to do math, even though we have calculators. Flows didn't kill admins, right? We still need to know how to administer Salesforce, even though we have flows to help us, right? There are tools that come along to help us out, but it's not the first one. AI is just kind of the next step in this Salesforce advancement, technological advancement in general. And I'll say, the first couple times you use a new tool, it feels like a little bit like imposter syndrome. Well, the tool's doing it all for me, right? What is my purpose here? And that's normal. And the other thing to keep in mind is the first couple times you use these tools, it is going to take longer, right? You're changing the way you're working, you're changing your processes, and you're going to think to yourself, I could do this so much faster by myself without AI. And you're right, the first time. But over time, getting used to these tools, making them work for you is going to benefit you in the long run, right? So I would challenge you to, wherever you are in your AI journey, your tech journey, become an early adopter of some of these AI tools and use them to your advantage, right? Don't be like the wizard with the abacus. Be the person running the robots to success. All right, the next thing I've been thinking about is the shift from being a solo builder to a team player. And, a lot of us work as solo admins, solo architects, or even if we have a team like I do, sometimes we have a project where we're the only person on it, right? We're working on the project by ourselves. And to get something done on that project, you need to have the answer. And the shift here is that you don't need all the answers anymore, right? You have a built-in team member in your AI assistant to help guide you along the way, right? And so maybe before I'd wait for a teammate to be available to ask them for help. I don't need to do that anymore, right? I can ask my AI assistant for a little help. And so think about asking your AI tools what you're missing or to rethink some ideas, right? And you can unlock a whole new set of ideas, kind of another brain to help you process things, right? And the takeaway here is that you now have a second pair of eyes to work alongside you, right? You don't have to do it on your own anymore. You have a team player along with you. And I'd also challenge you to use AI for a bunch of different things. Use it for building new things, right? Exploring new ideas. Let it do some of the thinking for you. Also for troubleshooting, right? Can it catch bugs before they become actual bugs, right? Ask it what maybe could go wrong here. What are you missing? And see if it comes up with some things. And chances are it will. And again, the first couple of times, you're going to have to test it out, see how it works, get used to it, figure out how to prompt it. But over time, it is going to help you and be a real team player, and in addition to whatever you can do yourself. Right, with this team player, kind of leads me to the next shift. And this is shifting from being the doer to being the director. And for me, I am developer and architect at heart. I like building things. I like going in and just creating a bunch of things. I like doing the work. And now we need to think about AI here as this brilliant, high speed, sometimes maybe a little clueless intern, right? It's great at executing and getting things done, but it needs some direction. Sometimes it needs some course correction. Sometimes it needs to be pushed in the right direction, right, based on where it's going. But it can do a lot of great work. And so think about some of the things that you don't like doing. Tedious tasks, lower value tasks, right? These can be things like unit tests or writing documentation, repetitive setup. I personally hate setting up test data. I don't set up test data anymore. I have the AI set up test data. I tell it what I want, and I tell it to set it up. Clone this record, clone that record, populate all the fields, go figure out what the types of fields are on this object. Go look at some actual data to get actual values. Go look at another org for actual data even, and populate that in my sandbox I'm working in, right? Any task I don't want to have to do anymore, I have the AI do for me, right? The goal for me with AI is I want it to get me 80% of the way there, right? It's not perfect. I need to tell it, nope, stop. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to work in that org. I do have to give it guardrails. Please don't change anything without telling me first. Don't change anything in this other org unless I explicitly tell you to, right? It'll get you, hopefully, 80% of the way there, but you still have to, do some of that 20% of the work yourself. And this is where your value comes in, right? AI can't do everything. Your value is in that final 20%, right? The refinement, the strategic alignment. You have the business knowledge that your AI does not necessarily have. So you know how the processes are supposed to work. You know how humans are going to interact with it, right? So make sure you're aligning it appropriately. And the other thing here, I mentioned the shift is to director, right? The AI is not meant to replace you. You shouldn't be copying and pasting what it's doing, right? You're not the AI's assistant. The AI is working for you, right? Direct the AI. You are telling the AI what to do. You take whatever the AI gives back to you, you tweak it, you refine it, and you make it into something your business can use, right? Make sure you're directing the AI, not assisting the AI. Right, shift number 4 here is shifting from specialist to polymath. And some of you may be familiar with the play Hamilton, and in Hamilton sings about being a polymath, someone who's kind of good at everything, right? And this allows you to kind of be good at everything, right? Break the skill ceiling, if you will, right? What you know, the knowledge you have, is no longer the limit of what you can build. And so now you have the opportunity to maybe flex the muscles you didn't have, right? And for me, this is really exciting because now our team gets to code in languages we don't know, right? We're based in Salesforce. We know a lot of Apex. We know a lot of LWC. Now maybe we can code in Kotlin and Angular, right? And all these different languages we don't know. We know how to code, and that with the AI we can now code in other languages. But this isn't just limited to coding. This can do a lot of skills that maybe you need to work on a little bit. Maybe you're like me and you like to write really long-winded responses to things that people don't always want to read, and so you need to clean it up a little bit. And so, okay, hey, I have this long paragraph response. Let me ask my AI assistant if it can tweak it into maybe a sentence, right? Summarize it a little bit, clean it up a little bit, right? So if you're maybe not good at communicating, it could improve that for you, right? Give you improve your skill at something you weren't necessarily quite as skilled at before. It can craft a presentation for you, or at least start a presentation for you, right? Think about using it for things that maybe you would like to work on a little bit, have it get some of the way for you, or take whatever you've done and tweak it a little bit. Right? AI not only improves what you already know, but it makes you capable at what you don't, right? And so now you can kind of branch out and do things you couldn't do before. I have a good example. Our team uses Salesforce Analytics, and we have a dashboard. And my manager asked me, hey, who's viewed this dashboard in the last 6 months? And I don't know a ton about Salesforce Analytics. And so my first instinct was, let me Google how to see who's viewed a Salesforce Analytics dashboard in the last 6 months. And it said you can go into event monitoring, which we happen to have, and you can look up, there's a query thing like dashboard views you can filter on, and it'll give you reports either by the hour or by the day. And so I said, hey, give me reports by the day for the last 6 months. And it gave me 71 days somebody had accessed the dashboard, and it gave me individual CSV files for each of the 71 days. So I could have spent my time clicking into each of the 71 days, downloading each of the 71 individual CSVs, right? Parsing it for the individual user IDs that are in there, right? Deduping them, and then doing another query to figure out what users correspond to those IDs. And I was having it, planning on having it take me several hours to do. And instead I went up to Gemini and said, hey, can you look into the dashboard views table and tell me who's viewed this dashboard in the last 6 months? And 23 seconds later, it gave me the list of email addresses of all the people that have viewed the dashboard in the last 6 months, right? So I know how to use Salesforce. I know a little bit about Salesforce Analytics. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted it to look. And all of a sudden now I have an answer in a much faster time. Right, now the last shift I want to talk about here is shifting from staying ahead of the curve to becoming your own replacement. The reality is, with AI, things are moving faster than ever. And it feels like things are changing every week. I just went on a week-long vacation. I came back and a bunch of things had changed, right? So sometimes it feels like we're just running and running and running, just trying to stay ahead of the curve. And I'm going to try to shift that a little bit. AI may or may not be a direct threat to your job, but I can tell you what's definitely a threat to your job. Someone else who can make AI work for them, right? Someone who can make AI work for them is going to be able to do your job better and faster than you. So what do we do about that, right? Keep in mind, somebody new starts using AI to get ahead every single day. Someone says, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out how to make AI work for me every day. But think about wherever you are in your career, right? Why can't you be that someone new today, right? You're miles ahead of everyone else who's just starting off. So be that someone new who's taking advantage of AI, right? And because you're miles ahead of everyone just starting, you have a leg up on getting ahead here. And thinking about, instead of waiting for somebody else to come along and outperform you, use AI to replace yourself and level up. Become your own replacement. The version of you that can make AI work for them can be the person who replaces the version of you that doesn't know how to use AI, right? So instead of waiting for that someone else to come along, replace yourself. Become proficient at AI and do your own job better and faster before someone comes along and does it for you. All right. So I want to wrap up kind of what we talked about here and provide some practical next steps for where to go when we go back to work. So as I mentioned, right, we need to shift from resistance to evolution, right? AI era is here, and we need to start embracing it as the next evolution in technology, right? You're not on your own anymore, though, right? You have a team player in your AI assistants to help you out. But keep in mind, you're not the AI's assistant. You're not the assistant to the AI. The AI is working for you. You should be directing it, having it, see if it can get you 80% of the way there, and then refining it and making it work for your business. Right? You're not limited by whatever skills you currently have, right? AI can help you with skills you don't have, improve skills you already do have, make you a little bit better even, and explore new territory also for you. And then lastly, you don't need to just try to stay ahead of the curve anymore. Think about trying to replace yourself with all the AI skills and the AI practice that you're getting. So in terms of next steps, some things I want to challenge you to think about on, some tips on maybe how to get started with some of this AI stuff, if you haven't already. I would challenge you to pick one high volume, low risk task and let AI do it, right? Maybe it's unit tests, maybe it's setting up dummy data, maybe it's, writing some documentation, and have the AI do it. And again, the first couple times it's probably going to take a little bit longer, but over time you're going to become really good at it, and it's going to be much shorter, and it's going to embolden you to not have to spend all this time on these, tasks that take a long time and suck your energy out and are kind of tedious. And you can move on to kind of the next level of work, right? My theory is that nobody here has ever gotten to the point at work where everything's been done, right? Every email's answered, every piece of work is done, no tasks left, nothing to follow up on, right? There's always more work to do. So let AI do some of that lower level work and find out what the next higher level of work is, right? Before you jump into building anything, consult AI on the approach. Ask it what it thinks. See if you're missing anything. See if there's anything else you should be thinking about. See if there's something in another app that's working better, right? What else could you be doing? And see if you can do some of the building for you, right? Pick a technical area outside your comfort zone and try to build something, right? Maybe that's coding in a language you don't know. Maybe that's writing some code if you're mostly working in flows. Maybe that's writing a flow if you're mostly working in code like me, right? But pick something outside your comfort zone. See how far the AI gets, right? Do it in a sandbox, definitely, right? Maybe do it in a dev org. Even I think Agentforce Vibes is still around for, I think for free for a little while in dev sandboxes if you want to get some practice there. But just pick something that you're not as familiar with and see if the AI can build it for you. I'd also challenge you to start a document of quality prompts that work for you, right? If you find something that does work and does click, write it down somewhere, right? Tweak it, add to this list, share it with your team. Your team members may have found prompts that work for them too. And so again, start building that knowledge base of how do we make the AI work for us as best we can. Maybe you tell it, hey, here's how I want you to write tests. Look at this other test in my org, write it this way, use this framework. You can build skills, right? That explicitly tell it, here's how I want you to write tests in my org, right? And so a lot of the skills will help the AI assistants as well. And then also, as I mentioned, AI can't do everything. So identify where your value is. Identify some tasks that do not make sense for AI to do, right? As humans, we still all have value. AI is never going to be able to understand the pain that another human feels from using your tool, right? AI is never going to be able to replicate the human-to-human connection that we have. So identify some things and some tasks that absolutely do not make sense for AI and keep those in mind as well. All right, with that, Ankita, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully these mindset shifts are helpful for some of your viewers.
Of course, this is really amazing. And yes, we cannot just sit and then think that okay, when we will need it, we will start using the AI. No, we still have to be a early adopter, and as soon as we started adopting it, we will be on the first who started using it, right? And I love your all the photos which you have created and added in your slide. It is like amazing. And the first thing which I will do is I'll command my AI to generate a documentation for me, because like it's literally boring work creating a manual step or any kind of documentation. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm not meant for that.
I feel that.
Yeah, and I love to hear from the listener. What's the first action they want to start, or the complex task they want to give to the AI instead, and they can utilize their energy and the time to some different decision maker things? Or we can write a code by ourselves, but instead of the AI is doing some test data creation and any kind of work which we don't like it. So you can add your comment also, what you like to give a command to your AI, right? Now it's the time, Adam, for the rapid fire round. And I think you know the rules, right? You have to be very fast, very quick, and of course, you cannot use AI for that. Okay, all set, all ready?
Yep.
Okay, so you need to answer that one AI tool you are currently enjoying.
Sure. So I'm going to be a little biased here. Working for Google, obviously we're using Gemini a lot, so I've found Gemini to be very helpful for writing code on Salesforce, but also just answering questions in my personal life, helping me plan vacations. I've been using it a lot for a lot of different things, and I found it very helpful. So a plug for Gemini.
Oh, it's your comfort area, of course. So one habit that made you successful.
I'm going to cheat a little bit and give you two. One of them is just doing a little bit each day, right? I a lot of times look at tasks and they're just so big. And so let me break it down. Let me do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. And over time, it adds up. So that's been very helpful for me. And the other one is sometimes just starting, right? There was a project I was working on that I'm like, I don't know if I know how to do this. Let me put it off a little bit. And then I just started it, and it started clicking. It started falling into place. And yes, AI was helping me quite a bit. But yeah, sometimes just starting can be a big hurdle to overcome.
Definitely, because consistency is very much required. You cannot just like make a bridge in one day, but every day if you try a little, you'll definitely do one day, right? So you
Yeah.
have to keep trying without if even we are failing it, we don't have to stop it. So consistency,
Mhm.
you know, is much needed. I would say that. Thank you, and of course, the last question will be okay. So sorry about that. All right. So um, the one word that defines Salesforce community because you are into the Salesforce from a long time back.
One word for the Salesforce community, I'd probably say growth. Growth in your career, growth in your network, growth in the people you meet, growth.
Yeah, because the Salesforce we just look up, right? One thing people misunderstand about the AI because we also need to know right what is right and what shouldn't be like misinterpreted. So what is the one thing which you have heard from the people who's like misunderstood about the AI?
Yeah, I get the whole range here. I get some people that think AI is going to be able to do everything. I get some people who think AI is just a fad, and I think the reality is AI is somewhere in the middle, right? It's a great, a very powerful tool, but it's again, like I said, the next evolution in technological advancement. It's going to change a lot of things. It's here to stay. It's not going to be able to do everything, and it's not going away. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course you need to understand or give proper command to the AI so that you'll get the reply accordingly. Yeah. So since we are in our Blazer Brews, we love coffee. I would like to understand your go-to coffee order.
All right, well, I got my. It's morning here in the U.S., so I got I got a cup with me right here. Uh, I, I'm a little boring when I get coffee. I always get it black. I do like the ritual of having a hot beverage to drink, but I feel guilty when there's too much sugar and flavoring in it. So I usually always simple get it black.
Just simple black plain coffee. Right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. I mean, I will literally say that we need this type of awareness where the people will understand what's the next step, what we have to do now. And it was really a wonderful time having you here at Blazer Brew with your coffee in the morning. And I'm sure the audience also must be buzzing with the amazing facts now. But before we wrap today, I would like to see that I was just wanted to take a couple of questions out of the curiosity of my audience. So let me go to the few of the questions here. You can also see future, and if you want, you can pick some.
All right. Where am I looking here? Okay.
Oh, huh.
I see a bunch on the LinkedIn invite. It looks like.
Yeah. So, okay. So I am seeing one here with saying that what role will human communication and leadership skill play in an AI driven world?
Will human communication leadership skills play in an AI-driven world? I think for me, it's never going to be the same talking to a bot as talking to a human, right? There are always times when you just want to talk to a human, you want to connect with a human. I think that human communication is actually going to be more important than ever as we do get more comfortable talking to our phones, talking to our AIs. We have to make sure we don't forget how to talk to other humans, right? And so I think that's very important. Leadership, again, is going to be very important here too. Striking the right balance between, yeah, we need to use AI to empower us, but we also do need people around. And I think you're seeing some of the trend now. We've seen a lot of companies saying, well, we have AI, so we don't need people anymore. And all of a sudden they're realizing actually we might need some of those people to make the AI work for us. In some cases, that AI is getting more expensive. Maybe people are even cheaper than the money they're spending on some of these tools. And so I think we're seeing that come back a little bit. So I'd really challenge leadership to identify again, AI can't do everything. So there's always more work to do. What can humans be doing there? Find more work for the humans to be doing and making sure that they are leading and not just taking the easy path out of saying, oh yeah, AI can do everything. I don't need people anymore. To me, that's not leadership. That's kind of laziness. And so I definitely look for some more leadership in that area.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you cannot be a lazy if the AI is here, right? You have to be creative and utilize your time wisely. So please just don't give a command to AI and then sit and relax and do nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. I have picked one more. When AI tool give a wrong or confident but incorrect answer, what is the best basic approach to debug or correct it without getting frustrated?
Oh man, I'm a little petty. I like to shame the AI a little bit. I told the other day the AI to, hey, can you populate a bunch of fields on this dummy data for me? And say, great, I populated them all. And then I said, can you actually tell me what percent of fields you populated? And it said, yeah, this record I populated 24%. This record I populated 7%. And I said, well, those are a lot lower than 100%, isn't it? Like, can you take another pass and try to get it to 100%? And so sometimes it's being, again, you're not the AI's assistant. You're directing the AI. It's going to make some mistakes. So you need to be checking its work, right? When it does make those mistakes, call it out. Say, hey, or be more explicit. Hey, I know I asked you to populate data. I actually needed you to populate 100%, not 7%, not 24%, 100%. So can you go back and take another look? And it's always amusing to me how much it apologizes. Gemini in particular gets really defensive or not defensive, but gets really depressed. And it's like, I'm so sorry, I ruined this for you. And I'm like, just calm down. You're a machine. Go fix this and let's move on. But yeah, sometimes it's just pointing out where it made the mistake, asking it to check its work, pointing it in the right direction. I see why you did it this way, but I actually need you to go look here. It also told me that there was a bunch of bad data because it was looking in the wrong spot. So I had to say, nope, only look here. Don't look over there. I don't care what's happening in that other project. I'm just focused on this right now. So give it some more guardrails, give it some more direction, but definitely do make sure you're fact checking it.
Sure, you cannot just 100% rely on you. Since you are a human, it's your responsibility. As we talked initially, you cannot be lethargic if the AI is here. I have seen one more beautiful question. Can artificial intelligence ever replace human decision making completely? Discuss, like, she want you to discuss couple of limitation and ethical concern, and it's very much important to know the people that ethically how can I utilize this AI, right?
Oh, sure. Obviously, that's a pretty big question to discuss some limitations and ethical concerns. I think, again, the starting point, I don't think it'll ever replace human connection. And so for that reason, I don't think it can ever replace human decision making completely. I think there are some things where it makes sense to trust it to do, right? I don't care if it creates some dummy data for me. I don't care if it writes the tests for me, right? I don't need to make every little decision for how it writes the test. I'm going to give it a guideline and things like that. In terms of limitations, again, it's not going to be able to replace human to human connection. When it comes to ethical considerations, obviously, we see a lot of debates and how governments are using it, and knowing that it's not perfect and is going to make mistakes. Definitely something to keep in mind. But keep in mind, humans also make poor choices and make mistakes at the same time. For me, it comes back to, people talk about, Waymo is really big right now in San Francisco, and people like to point out every time a Waymo makes a mistake or a Waymo, does something bad. And the reality is, Waymo's not perfect either. But if you compare it to human drivers, how many mistakes is Waymo making compared to the human drivers? So just because Waymo isn't perfect, does that mean it's not valuable? Does that mean it's not going to maybe be better than at least some human drivers? And so figuring out what AI's role should be, I think it's going to be an ongoing discussion, and there are going to be people who get it wrong, and we're all kind of learning as it goes. And so definitely something that needs guardrails, something that needs a human in the loop. But I think there are powerful things that can be done with AI that can't necessarily be done with humans. And so it's important to figure out, like any tool, where it fits in and how to best use it.
Yeah, totally understand that. And that brings us to the end of the episode of Blazer Brew. And the AI era is not a barrier. Please don't take it as a barrier. It's an initiation to learn faster, collaborate deeper, and experience experience boldly. Like you have a chance to build out or to take out all your creativity from inside and build something, like from your creativity, give the task to the agent and you started thinking about the creativities. And thank you so much, Adam, for all 5 months, and that is really important and amazing, and I think that the audience has also enjoyed a lot. Even I have also got to know about few more things which I also started doing on after the sessions as well. And thank you so much for everyone to listening me. Until the time we will come back for the next episode, keep learning, keep blazing, and do not forget to have your coffee so that you can wake up and have all your energy. And once you started learning, you have to pass your story to others, right? Because the story is something who can have change your mind and change the world of the other. So when you started learning, also pass on that knowledge to the others. This is how the Salesforce community together, and we believe in learning together as well and growing together. Thank you so much. On this note, I'm your host Ankita, signing off for today. Thank you. Bye bye.